money has come into certain think tanks and other chairs, and that has muddied up the direction of these entities with an influence that's superfluous to the original purpose of these entities.
Why does the Turkish government refuse to acknowledge the genocide?
Well, it's quite clear. There's a fear of reparation. There's a fear of embarrassment. We see the example of Germany. Germany acknowledged the Holocaust. The United States has acknowledged slavery. These countries have come to terms with their past. And because it has been denied for so long, so intently and so aggressively, it seems like they may believe that there is no turning back. But that's where activism comes in and advocacy, to raise awareness and promote understanding and education about the need to properly characterize this crime, because if you don't, Hitler said, what happened to the Armenians, nobody cared about it.
Yeah.
To sum him up, what he was saying. And he referred to the Armenian case more than once. And we're seeing it in Darfur today. If the crime is not punished, if there's no deterrent, if there is a belief or any credible opinion by the perpetrator that he can get away with the crime, then it will be committed again and again. And history is replete with examples from Cambodia, Rwanda, and Darfur today.
And to acknowledge the genocide, a lot of Turkish officials, they view it as an attack on the Turkish nation. I've even seen some claims from Turkish nationals themselves who say, well, if you acknowledge anybody who says there was an Armenian genocide, they're just racist against Turks and Muslims.
Yeah, and that's a strategy we've seen to become ad hominem, or to take the issue and turn it into, you're attacking me, therefore this is something wrong. Whereas that really gets away from the point. There is no hatred. There is no animosity versus people as individuals. I think the frustration that activists who care about this feel is related to the government's policy of denial. And all of the ramifications of that. It is not some vile viciousness or primordial hatred of another person. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It's about justice and a crime being committed and allowing for it to go unpunished and unremembered.
Have you seen more of a movement in Turkey or amongst Turks worldwide to start acknowledging the genocide?
As I believe this as a result of pressure externally, which, of course, the Turkish government wishes to just go away and fights it at every opportunity it gets. Because of that pressure in both the United States and other countries that have recognized the genocide, which now is up to 23, 11 of which are NATO allies. 42 states in this country have recognized the genocide officially. Hawaii, our president's birth state, just did it the same day he was in Turkey. So I think that resonates very strongly with people following this as well. That connection is very strong. And the more it's denied, the more they push, the more they try to eradicate any memory of this, it actually serves the purpose of raising awareness of the issue even more.
Sure.
And it promotes understanding of how horrible and evil genocide is and how it should be stamped out.
Recently, President Obama was in Turkey, and during the campaign season, he proclaimed that he called the Armenian genocide a genocide. He said he was going to work with trying to get the United States government or Congress to pass a resolution acknowledging the Armenian genocide. Yet when he went to Turkey, he merely called them massacres and wouldn't use, as activists say, the G word.
Yeah.
Did that disappoint you?
He actually, it was a missed opportunity. There's no question. The president, his record on human rights is very strong. His political career in large part was based on that. He even had staffers in his office who were dedicated to issues like this, such as Samantha Power, that he brought in because they wrote about the Armenian genocide in Darfur. So his record is there. That's what distinguishes him from other presidents. He has the human rights track record. He has spoken out before on this issue. So him coming now when he went to Turkey, it was a missed opportunity, yes, but what he did also, it did present an opportunity to understand what he may be doing in a couple of days. In his press conference, the first question he answered related to the Armenian genocide. He stated that his views have not changed. Secondly,
okay, go ahead.
He also referred in his speech to the Turkish parliament, he dedicated 4 paragraphs of his speech to this issue, to the Armenian issue, more than any other issue that he discussed in front of the Turkish parliament. So those may be signals for preparation for Friday, but it was indeed a missed opportunity to honor his pledge that he made.
It's some people, whether they be politicians or even people involved with the American government, they say, yeah, the Armenian genocide did happen, but to try to get Turkey to pass a resolution acknowledging it in the House and the Senate, it it would ruin our relations with Turkey, who's a very key member of our strategy in the Middle East. What would be your response to that?
Those are very disingenuous arguments. If you look at it from the Turkish-Armenian standpoint, Turkey only began starting a relationship or trying to appear to have one because they feared President Obama would recognize it. So there is no sincere purpose in doing that. There is still a blockade of Armenia, an illegal blockade according to international law. And Turkey has refused to lift that blockade. Armenia has always said that they would allow and welcome relations with no preconditions. And Turkey, because of their advantages as a large NATO country, they take advantage of Armenia in the media. And they promote an idea that there is this really wonderful, flowery diplomatic relationship that's building that is not there. Vis-a-vis the United States, we've seen Turkey bail on the United States many times. In 2003, Turkey did not allow this country to utilize parts of Turkey in the north to invade Iraq during the Iraq War. They let down our country, our soldiers, our troops, young Americans who had gone there to fight, who died unnecessarily because the Turkish government, an ally supposedly, would not allow the United States to use those bases. And then again, after in 2007 with the House Resolution 106 on the Armenian Genocide, they asked that the bill be pulled so they would not destabilize northern Iraq. When the bill was pulled, they still went in anyway with airstrikes and combat missions. So I think there's a track record here of an ally, quote unquote, who's taking advantage of the United States. From a realpolitik perspective, the United States should perhaps consider stepping up and not setting a precedent of succumbing to the whims of a junior ally. It's a very dangerous precedent.
If you have any questions or comments for Andrew Kizirian, the executive director of the Armenian National Committee of Western Region, you could call 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK. You don't have to be Armenian or Turkish to call in. Just commentary, observations. Do you even know about the Armenian Genocide? Have you ever heard of it? Is this an important issue for you as a progressive to know and to advocate for? Wasn't one of the congressmen who sponsored the resolution was the local guy here, Adam Schiff?
Yes. Congressman Schiff represents areas of Glendale, Burbank, Pasadena. He is the co-author of the current resolution, which is HRes 252.
How has he come to learn about the genocide?
His constituents. He has a large constituency of Armenian Americans who have lived in that district for decades. And obviously, like any constituents of any democratically elected system of government that we have in the United States, constituents petition their leaders on issues that are of concern to the community. The denial of this crime is especially insidious, the cover-up of this crime by the Turkish government. So clearly stating and reaffirming the United States record of the humanitarian relief effort that took place at the time and the need to recognize this crime is something that the congressman sees from his constituents as a valid use of government.
We're talking about the Armenian Genocide, both the commemoration and its lack of recognition. We're going to take a short break. Up next, the Subversive Historian, then we'll get to your phone calls.